Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have crab legs for dinner tonight. 2 pounds of it to be exact, so I'm super excited. So let's just dig in. I gotta pull up my sleeves for this, I think. Let me take a bite first. Ooh. I steamed them in Old Bay. And it's super good. And guys, when I eat crab, I don't leave much behind. So I will be picking like the little bits, and if you get annoyed at that, I'm super sorry. Yeah, I did it. I steamed them in Old Bay, which is my favorite. Okay, so I know it's been like a pretty hot minute since my first video, and I knew, like I said, I was gonna do it next week with a chicken wing video, but seriously guys, life just gets in the way and it couldn't happen. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. My cat's up here right now. Chowder, no, none for you. Yeah, so, one of the reasons why I'm actually able to do this video right now is because I have the house to myself tonight, and these were on sale at the grocery store, and I have nothing else to do, and, only my own company, so. I figured I can talk to a camera. That's fine. So it's also 6:30 right now at night. So if it's like dark, I apologize. I tried to pick a spot in the kitchen that had the best lighting. My office that the last video was in doesn't have an overhead light. I only have like a little lamp. I usually I'm not in there like when it's dark. I'm usually in there during the day working and stuff. So I couldn't do it in there. Yeah, so the kitchen had to do. Because it's got an overhead light, and I have the stove light on, which is pretty bright, and the hallway light. And the light above the sink. So yeah, I made it work. I'm from Washington State, so I used to have like a heavy diet of crab, fresh caught crab, you know, crab that we would like catch ourselves. And living in Colorado, you can't get a lot of good seafood, and it's really expensive. This 2 pounds of crab was on sale, and it was still $27. No, 32, something like that, because it was $15.99 a pound, so it would have been, had to have been over 30. I'm not getting much out of these little guys. Ah! So I'm still trying to figure out like this filming thing, and I think I figured out that you have to have, like, raise the food up towards your face further. So I'm balancing this cutting board on 2 bowls, and so I'm super nervous that it's gonna fall over. So good. This is 100% my favorite food. So I actually have a little bit of a story time for you guys today. It's about a dog that I found. So let's see. I'll just start like kind of like from the beginning, I guess, and explain it as we go. So I live in a subdivision, and last week on Valentine's Day, our neighbor, or I don't know if it was our neighbor or not, told us there was a dog running around the street. And I live in a subdivision, but it's right off a really busy street. And so we were like, okay, we better go try and catch a dog, because if he goes on that street, there's a good chance he'll get hit by a car. And so we find the dog, and he's beautiful. And he's really big. He's a Cane Corso, which if you don't know, that's an Italian Mastiff, and he's big. And he's like a blue brindle color, really pretty. And so we tried for a while to get him, but he was so scared, and he just wouldn't stop barking and running away. And so we had been at it for a while and keeping an eye out, and it wasn't going anywhere. So animal control was called, not by us, another neighbor. We didn't know until later. We later found out. But yeah, so he called animal control and took him. And before I knew this, I told Doug, my boyfriend, I was like, if we can't get him or whatever, I'm going to call in the morning the Humane Society and see if anybody took him in or if he found his way. And so the thing about this dog and why I really wanted to know if he was found, a few houses down from us, a bunch of college kids used to live there, and this is their dog. I know it is because I've seen it a billion times, and they were breeding him with a female and selling the puppies. And they just had a litter about 3 months ago. That's kind of why it's still fresh in my mind, and I remember them running around the front yard, and people were like looking at them and stuff, and whatever. So that house has been vacant for about a month, maybe a little over. Like, they moved out of the house. And Doug was like, they abandoned the dog. Like, he didn't have tags or anything on. He was skinny. They weren't like, you could tell that they were not responsible dog owners. And so he was pretty sure that they abandoned the dog. It just breaks my heart because I could never do that. So the next day, I call the Humane Society in our county, and I ask, did a gray Mastiff get dropped off last night? And she said, yeah, he did, about 6 o'clock around on these two streets. I won't tell you the streets. On these two streets. And I was like, yes, that's the dog I'm talking about. I told her what I knew about him. I told her I wanted to see him. I told her that I might be interested in taking him into my home if he's a good fit, and that I wanted to come say hi to him. And then she said that was fine. He was going to be on a 5-day hold to make sure, like, if somebody was looking for him, that he would be in lost pets or lost dogs for 5 days, and that after 5 days, if nobody had claimed him, that I was more than welcome to, come take a look if I wanted to adopt him. So later, I'm talking to them again, and I find out that actually 2 of them came in, and that the female was found a few streets down on a busy road, and she was actually taken in to the pound earlier in that day by animal control. And it's the female, and so I'm finding out that both of them have been abandoned by these people. So, and they said that she's even still lactating because, she had just had those puppies. And which is just sad, I think. Like, she was ripped away from her puppies and then abandoned out of her home onto the streets, and skinny, and like they had obviously been underfed at the home, or they've been on the streets long enough to not have had food. It's just so sad. So yesterday rolls around, which would be day number 4 that he's been at the pound. So he's been there for 4 days now. And I get a call from the Humane Society, and it's the behavioral specialist. And she basically says that the boy is about 3 years old. He's 93 pounds, underweight, so he'll get bigger than that. And she's worked there for a while, and she said that he's amazing. She said out of the hundreds of dogs she's met, he's the sweetest. And she said out of any breed that she's met, a Cane Corso breed, he's the most submissive. She said, like, if you even just sit down on the floor, he's automatically in your lap, and all he wants to do is love, and he's really not interested in playing or anything. Like, he just wants to chill, relax, sleep, cuddle, eat, and be pet. And that was really good news, because if he had been an aggressive Cane Corso, it's a lot less likely to get adopted, obviously, and oftentimes would be put to sleep. And he's got like a pretty serious bark on him. He's very intimidating. Like, when we were trying to catch him, he was barking at us, and he was very intimidating. So it's good to know that his personality doesn't reflect how scary he can be. The girl, on the other hand, she said that she's super uncomfortable where she is, obviously, and nervous, and that she is acting out aggressively towards the handlers and other dogs, and she actually nipped a handler, so she's on bite watch right now, which is really just so unfortunate. And when I found out that they were, both found, then I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't split them up. Because basically, they live together. But then the lady was saying that them being together, they actually like get each other going, and that they need to be split up. So then I was like, okay. And I can't have a girl dog anyway, because my dog now is a girl and she doesn't like other girl dogs. So I'm really sad about her, because, she's scared and acting out, obviously, like I would too. But because of that, she might not get adopted and could very well be put down. So I'm really hoping that, I'm going to keep track of her and see how long she's there and stuff. I don't think I'll let them put her down. I think I take her and separate them somehow, or, find somebody to foster her before I let that happen. I'm gonna make sure this is recording. Okay, thank God. So this morning we went and finally met him, and he was in his kennel at first, and he was barking and really scary again, and he's just got, he looks like he's a huge dog. Like, you should be scared of a huge dog that you don't know, especially if he's barking. So I was a little like, oh gosh, I don't know. One of the ladies that works there comes and gets him, walks him on a leash just fine into a little visitation area outside, and we sit down with him, and I sit down on the ground, and literally he almost knocks me over trying to get in my lap, and he wouldn't get out of my lap, and he was just so sweet. And then we did a cat test with him because I have cats, and he went into the cat room and didn't really care about any of them, so that was really good. So then the next step was going to be for him to meet our dog. To do a meet and greet. Because Karma she would need work to be with another dog, but it's totally doable with the right dog. So we go home and get her. Drive back out there. And we're waiting outside for them to bring out the dog. This like little old woman brings out the dog on a leash. You know, this 93-pound dog, it's literally like pulling her. He sees Karma, sniff a little bit of butts. We separate them. They're getting kind of stiff and nervous. We separate them. We walk across the lot to like a fenced-in little area. And Karma at first doesn't really even care that he's there. She's just like kind of sniffing and walking around, and he wants to meet her for sure. And she starts to like get a little bit curious and wants to meet him. And so we, you know, bring them over to each other on the leashes, and they both get really stiff. And so we're, you know, trying to take our time and not pushing it or anything. And this lady should not have been, you know, the one that was bringing out this dog. He should have, honestly, I think a guy should have been doing it. Not that I don't think like a woman could handle him, but she couldn't. And so she, oh my God. That fell on my leg, so it's fine. So she also speaks kind of like broken English, so it's a little bit hard to like understand. And she keeps saying, take her off the leash, take her off the leash, referring to our dog. And we're like, no, we don't want to. We don't think that's a good idea. We need to be able to pull her back if he like lunges at her or anything. And the woman's like adamant, like, no. I know the dog. Like, you know, she's adamant that she knows what she's talking about. And so we're like, okay, so we take Karma off the leash, and she goes over to him, and they're automatically in a fight, and she can't pull him off at all. And Doug had to go over and like grab Karma, and we're like, we fucking knew it. Like, off to a really bad start now. We should have done it our way. So we walked out there a little bit defeated, but we were talking about it more, and Doug has a lot of experience with dog training, especially Karma. She was, you know, the same situation. She was at the Humane Society. He had to do a ton of training with her. And so he felt confident that he was just, you know, like super stressed out, and that it was a really bad environment for them to meet. And obviously, like, he's not in the best of shape to be doing this because he is so nervous and stressed out in a foreign environment and doesn't know anybody, like, of course. So he's confident that he can train him. So he's calling them tomorrow. We want another meet and greet under our own circumstances. I hope it goes better. But as of right now, we're probably going to be adopting him. I'm a little nervous, obviously, especially with the cats, but he's such a lover. Like, I think that once we got him home and he was like comfortable, he'd probably just like lay down and go to sleep. I don't think he'd care about anything. And he doesn't want to play with the tennis ball. He doesn't want to run around. He's big and he's lazy. And really all he wants to do is chill and cuddle. It's kind of like, I feel kind of freaked out right now because I'm sitting like in my kitchen by the windows. It's dark outside. I'm home alone. I'm never really home alone because I live with my boyfriend, but he's gone on vacation with his cousin that flew into town. They're out snowboarding. They went to Winter Park they'll be gone till Monday night, so I have 4 nights by myself. And it's really scary in the house right now, especially because I'm doing this. It's like so quiet, literally dead quiet. And I'm spooked. Because normally, if I'm alone and eating, which, you know, for a couple meals of the day I am, I'm not sitting in silence, and I'm certainly not always talking to myself. I usually have like a YouTube video playing or a podcast or something, like just, you know, something to listen to. It's really strange sitting in a room, quiet room, by yourself, nobody around. It's eerie. And I live like in a subdivision. I couldn't imagine like back in the day when I lived in the middle of nowhere. That would be terrifying. Which I honestly don't know how. I did that because we literally grew up in the middle of nowhere all the time. Like we moved a bunch, but we were always in the middle of the woods, away from everybody, at least by 5 miles on a dirt road. And I was home alone all the time. But I don't really remember being scared. I guess because we always had like big German Shepherds that were watchdogs. So I guess I didn't really freak out that much, and we had guns in the house. I knew how to use them. So I wasn't that freaked out. One time, this is an interesting story. We lived in, you know, a pretty big house out in the middle of nowhere. One of the things that my mom and dad did for income when we were growing up is they would buy a lot of land out in the middle of nowhere and build a brand new, really nice custom built house, and then they would sell it and move on to the next one so they make a profit. So oftentimes, I wouldn't say often, I'd say most of my life growing up, we actually lived in camper trailers on the property while the house was being built. Which was pretty cool. We had a bunch of dogs, and it was me, my sister, my mom, and dad, and we didn't have TV or anything, obviously, so we spent a lot of time outside in the middle of nowhere growing up. That's a pretty cool childhood. Anyway, so we lived in this really big house at the time. We'd only lived in there for a few months, and we were already I think we were already in the process, or not we, I think my dad was already in the process of scoping out like another site to start construction. So we weren't going to be there for very long. But long enough to like get settled in. So, off to the side of the house was a pasture where our horse was, Sunny. I don't have crab crackers, so I have to smash. Yeah, so our horse Sunny was in the pasture. And then next to like the opening of the pasture where you would normally go up and like open the fence and see him was the tack shed where you keep like your hay and tack and gear and whatever. And then on the other side of that, we had like a few burn barrels and then our chicken coop full of chickens. And so, oftentimes you would have to go over there to get the hay out of the tack shed and feed the horse. And again, we lived in the middle of nowhere. I'm not kidding when I say that. Like you couldn't, our nearest neighbor was literally down the dirt road like 5 miles. Like it was, you know, really secluded, which we were totally used to. Like, I'm fine with that. And I probably even live like that now. So, it was late at night, and it was just me and my mom at home, and I think I was only 12 or 13 at the time, and we had to go pick up my sister from the school, or something like that, and it was later at night, so it was already dark, and our German Shepherd, Lucky, was with us. She was in the family, and she was definitely a watchdog, a protector. Like, she was the sweetest thing ever to people, but like, if a stranger was nearby or tried to come into the house, or if there was an animal or another dog, like, she'd go ballistic, and she would, you know, you don't want to be next to a ballistic German Shepherd. Like, they're fucking scary. So, like, safety never really felt like an issue outside if you had the dog out there with you. Without the dog, I wouldn't have felt safe. Damn. So, again, it's like later at night, it's already dark, it's me and my mom, and we're about to get in the car to go pick up my sister. And at first, I was just gonna stay home. Like, I didn't really care. I was old enough to, like, know, like, call 911 if you need help. Like, don't leave the stove on. And, you know, I had common sense at that point. And I knew, like, don't answer the door for strangers and keep the doors locked. And, like, I knew essential safety skills. Like, it wasn't a big deal to leave me at home by any means. And the high school is only, like, 30 minutes away. So I would have only been home alone for, like, an hour. But I decided, you know, for some reason, I don't remember at the time, that I wanted to go. Maybe I was bored and needed to the house or whatever. So I ended up, you know, getting my stuff together, and we start heading for the car. And my mom says, you know, let's feed the horse really quick before we get back, and it's super late. So we walk down to, like, the little tack shed, and I'm, you know, petting the horse or whatever, and she's getting the hay to put it in his trough. And Lucky, the dog, bolts over to where we are, and she's barking like crazy, and both of us were like, wait, what? Because we would never leave the dog out if we were going out. Like, she would have been inside. They weren't outside dogs at all. Like, they were still very much pets, and they would be inside. And so the dog's running at us, like, sprinting. Her hair's up. She's foaming at the mouth because she's barking so hard. We don't know what's going on. But we both thought it was weird that the dog was out. And then Sonny, the horse, rears up, and he's all freaking out. And we're like, the fuck is happening? Like, is the world about to end? Did the animals know something we don't know? They did know something we didn't know. So, as soon as, like, the horse rears up, we start looking around, and off to our side where the burn barrels are, there's a man crouched behind one of them. To my neighbors. I was so scared. Telling the story kind of freaks me out. So, the horse rears up. She's looking around. My mom's looking around. The guy's behind the burn barrel. We see him. He stands up. He starts coming towards us. We book it to the house, and the dog books it to him. So, we go inside. My mom calls 911, obviously. They send out police. The dog ends up coming back. She's fine. We don't know where the guy is, but the dog comes back. She's okay. We put her inside the house. And I guess later we find out that the guy had been targeting like these big houses in the middle of nowhere. And that his plan was probably to break in the house. They weren't sure if he was like violent or a rapist or anything like that, but I was gonna stay home, which means I would have been home alone as a 12-year-old girl and a man breaking into my house, and like, who knows what could have happened. Oh, it freaks me out to think about it. So yeah, he ended up getting arrested. Thank God, the dog was okay, we were okay, shooken up a bit, but all around fine. I actually have more stories like this to share in the future, but I'm really full and my battery's dying, so I will catch you guys in the next video, and thank you for your patience. I love you guys, or anybody that's watching. I don't have a following. What am I talking about? I've watched too many. Okay, I have to go. Bye.